We are antennas and we have subtle energies that we can pick up with our DNA that could send messages to our brain, much like your eyes send messages to your brain, and we then decode the chemistry as to what we then see. So we see chemical messages.
Welcome to season 1 of Beyond the Human. Remember who you are. I'm your host, Hazel Ray, singer-songwriter, experiencer, and messenger for those walking the edge of remembrance just like me. This is not a podcast to convince you of anything. Really, just take what resonates, leave what doesn't. This is a transmission, a call to the ones waking up, the ones remembering, the starseeds, the sensitives, the truth seekers, bridging science and spirit. If you're listening to this, you are ready. So let's remember together.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Beyond the Human. I am your host, Hazel Ray, and today's episode is called How Art Becomes a Portal. We're going to talk a little bit about music, we're going to talk a little bit about frequency and sort of why you're drawn to certain music. We'll talk a little bit about my music and just get into a little bit of the science and the spirit behind that. So I sort of just wanted to talk about why I play music in the first place. I think I touched a little bit on this in the first Welcome Transmission episode, but my pa was a drummer and he passed away when I was 10 of motor neurone disease, and no one else in my family was musical. And I remember being drawn to the recorder. My nan brought a recorder home one day, like a little recorder pack with a book. You know the one if you know, and let me know if you do know. And I learnt the whole book. I think Nan said to me, like, in that day, I would have been in like grade 4 or 5. She's like, oh, I wonder if you've got, the musical gene or whatever. And then I really wanted to play piano. I had a friend that played piano and she would teach me things by ear. And I started playing piano when I was 12 and started singing, having singing lessons when I was 16. Truth be told though, my mum, and she'd be able to back me up on this, I would sing in front of the mirror in my bathroom, like Britney Spears style, like pop star, and she'd be like, can you please stop? Like, it doesn't sound any good. But something in me was just drawn to being on stage and sharing music, and that's all I really, really wanted to do. And I was so scared to have this like a pipe dream? Is that what you call it? Or like the childhood quintessential dream of being like a pop star. And maybe it did come from like a deep-seated, trauma of wanting to be seen. And I think some like psychologists might draw towards that, whereas putting all the puzzle pieces, like you've heard some of my stories in the early episodes, like going up into a spaceship and the mental health journey that I've been on, and to be like completely sane sitting here again, not medicated at all, and just have this strong desire to connect all of this information and share it. I mean, here I am. And I believed that for the most part, it was just the music transmission that needed to be completed. And I had so many signs to suggest, like in the episode before this, the signs of awakening and the story of when I went to Kmart and everything. It's just like, it was part of my mission. Music is a part of it. And I've just released recently, no matter when you're listening to this, I have a song called Alien and it just come out, and it's doing really well and it's really resonating with people because people are starting to question the narrative and question what they're being told on the television, vision, and the fear mongering that we experience. And Alien, that song, is very much about, the world isn't the same as what it was 100 years ago. If I had told my pa, if I could speak to my pa now and told him that we could literally flick our phone and see someone and have a chat to them on the other side of the world, he would think it's witchcraft. And some of the technologies that we have now, it's all moving so rapidly, and people would say things like, these are the lyrics in the song, but people say, oh, that's impossible. If you break down the word impossible, it's I'm possible. I love that. I love when I look at words and break them up and then they mean something so phenomenal. Like forest. When I go into the forest, and every one of you would feel the same, when I go into the forest, I feel really peaceful. I come out feeling really calm. And if you break up forest, it's for rest. bomb drop. Anyway, I will ping pong. I've got to come back to where we were. Impossible. See? Lost it. Impossible. And then it becomes possible. You know, flying cars, and like I've seen hovering motorbikes, and you know, so my deep feeling that my inner soul, my energetic code, my light source, the thing that is me, I feel is more connected to potentially a light being, an alien race, if you've got no other word to call them, that I resonate more with that. Is it so abstract that I do feel that? Is it possible? I genuinely believe that we're only, I don't know, a couple of years away from there being disclosure about all of this. And I've said it. And my family know I've said many things that have come to fruition. And I don't know, it's just my inner knowing. So music has always been a big part of the transmission, the message that I feel that I'm here to share. It's one thing to just speak it like I'm speaking to you now, but when you hear it in song, it just hits a little bit different. And that's because you're not speaking the frequency, it's in a different frequency. So it actually can reach you differently. And have you ever sat there and wondered why you like the genres of music that you like? I know that some people, my partner in particular too, when they're feeling a certain way, there's certain music that they'll go to. Whether it's to feel into that or is it to clear blockages. But that frequency and the words combined, so like a minor chord and sad words, they go together in a beautiful concoction to bring about emotion. You know, you can go major chords, like happy chords, and then sing about some sort of uplifting inspiration. And again, it'll give you prickles on your back and bring joy. Music is so powerful, and I genuinely believe it's the birthplace of where we've come from. That, and if you can really appreciate that every single thing is energy, then every single thing would have a resonant sound. But our range of hearing just can't pick them all up. You know, elephants can hear really, really deep sounds. I clean at a lady's house one day a week. And there is, when she turns the heater on, there is this like, oh my God, ear piercing, like, it hurts my brain. So I have noise cancelling headphones that I can put on and listen to music, but it actually does something inside me physically. Like I can feel it's almost painful. But because the people I clean for are a little bit older, they can't hear it. You know? So there is proof already that some humans can hear things that others can't. And, you know, people attribute that to old age. Younger kids have better range of hearing. So therefore, they are able to hear things that others can't. And who's to say that there aren't beings on this planet that have wider spectrums and can perceive, like hear, see, feel, taste. I mean, other species on the planet have way greater ranges than we do. And that's the thing. Everything is energy. So if we could perceive further outside this VR headset that we're wearing, it would bring so much to light that I and many others are still trying to explain that is possible. But yes, the music that you listen to, that it holds a frequency and it communicates with you, and I genuinely believe that it helps move moods, you know, and changes your internal, like in energetic blockages, if you like. So scientifically, how does that measure up? Let's just talk a little bit about atoms for a minute. So it is said that atoms are the building blocks of life. It was something that when I'm teaching science and chemistry, you know, it's one of the questions that's always on the test. What are atoms? Are the building blocks of life, you know? So there are 116, if not more, elements on the periodic table, and elements are just made up of, they're many, many atoms. So an element of carbon will just have carbon atoms. So we are made up of many, many, many different atoms. And the way I sort of try to explain this in my shows is, if I had a different coloured Lego block for every atom, and I put a bunch of them together, and I could literally build. So from all the spread of blocks on the ground, I can build form. I can make objects. But at the atomic level, so if I built an object out of Lego, all different colours, which would have all different atoms, at the atomic level, you need to understand something. If I was to put a cricket ball in the middle of the MCG, so in Australia, it's a giant stadium, put a little ball in the middle of it, that would be the nucleus of the atom, and there'd be all this space, and then on the outside of the atom, we have electrons. So down at an atomic level, we are made up of space. We are permeable beings, and we absorb all of the subtle energies that are in our environment, like the heater sound that can be painful to the body, but we can't necessarily detect. There are so many frequencies around us constantly moving through us, getting blocked. You know, X-rays, for example, that radiation can enter down to the bone but can't go any further. When you get higher and higher and higher frequencies, like we talk about radiation that can go down to the cells, gamma radiation I'm talking about, but there's higher frequencies than that, and they therefore could go down to the atomic level and permeate right through us. And I think that sometimes potentially, whether we have blocks like stuck energy, where like energy gets stuck, can't travel through, and then we get all of this dis-ease in the body. So music, the solfeggio frequencies, I spoke about them in the last episode if you want to go back to that. And basically those frequencies have been tested to see how they interact with the body. And it can be healing. It can reduce blockages, move energy, because it is energy. When I went through my dark night of the soul, and I spoke about that in one of the earlier episodes, one of the things my healer had said to me at the time, I knew nothing about frequencies, as in the solfeggio frequencies, and she said you need to play 432, which is called the miracle tone, and they've actually tested that the brain sits at 432 hertz, and that's why they've suggested that going to sleep at night 432 hertz is really good for you to calm your brain, because it helps with coherence of frequency. My children and I go to sleep with rain noise in particular, and I use that as interference for any psychic attack or messages that try to come through. It's a blocker. It's static blocking frequency, and we all sleep way more peaceful. And I think I spoke about this in the last episode, didn't go into it, which I do want to touch on. I said that when I was younger, I used to get my parents to leave the television on. I used to get really upset when they turned it off and I wasn't asleep yet, because I felt like when the television went off, everything got louder around me, because my perception of the frequency and the energy around me, that some of it didn't feel very nice, became more prominent because I didn't have that interference. So just note to self, if you're having trouble sleeping and you are prone to psychic attack, meaning hearing things, like having intrusive thoughts, intrusive visions when you're trying to go to sleep, that can be really helpful as a blocker in the meantime while you're going through your awakening, transition, getting help, whatever it is that you need. So music, 432 hertz. If I'm playing 432 hertz in my house, and 432 hertz is the miracle tone, the resonant of earth, if you like, that's probably the best way to explain it. When you have two frequencies that are the same that meet each other, we call that constructive interference. And what it does is it amplifies the sound. I only saw a guy on Instagram yesterday who was talking about this, that every room has a resonant tone, and when you match the frequency, it'll echo like louder around you. The opposite to that is when you have the opposite frequency to that, you have deconstructive interference, and it cancels itself out. And that's actually theory behind how we could potentially use frequency to cure diseases and potentially cancers in the body, of matching that frequency using the equal opposite and cancel out those frequencies. Anyway, I digress. So that's the science behind it, that we are atomic beings, we are permeable. And on top of that, inside our cells, we have these globulars of DNA. And basically, they're like our DNA that's been like coiled up and coiled up and coiled up. And it's all in this, not a knot. It's in a, it's followed the natural spin of the double helix of twisting opposite ways. I can't really do that with my hands. And then it forms this ball, and basically in different shapes it's able to conduct electricity. So as you know, if something can conduct electricity, it can receive information. It acts like an antenna. No different to the antenna on your house. No different to the antenna that we used to have on the television, the rabbit ears. Once you match the frequency length of one wavelength, you can receive that information. So you have to match the frequency to receive the information. So in my opinion, when you put on music that matches your frequency, it will amplify the feeling and therefore either help you heal or bring more joy. You know, for example, if you're listening to something really sad or quite painful, that is essentially matching your frequency of what's going on inside. And you'll know, because I can be in a really joyful mood and I cannot put on my like sad list. I can't, because it brings my mood down, brings my frequency down to match it. I don't want to do that. So it's really important that if you know this, it can help you as a tool if you are feeling really low. It's going to be so hard to go and put on some sort of upbeat song. In fact, the song by Abel Hart, Fancy. I'm just going to promote him right now. All right. Like, that's going to put you in a good mood, right? Anyway, that's that. So, I just wanted to talk a little bit about my songs, my lyrics, and, you know, sort of any visions that come about in reference to writing. Now, what I find really interesting is that when I'm writing music, there's a certain level of like a resonance that I need to be in to feel like I'm channeling the information that needs to be shared. I can write songs that can be about me and my loves and whatever, but when it comes about like global messages or healing, it'll come out like that. Yesterday I sat down and I started writing, like I felt something in me. It's hard to explain. I'll say to my partner, I'm like, I've got a song that needs to come out. And a lot of creatives might feel this, or a painting or a poem or something that's building. And this is exactly sort of what happens to me. And basically, yeah, with yesterday, it's like I have to sort of make up a few bits and then I'll click into the zone. It's like, to me, I have to reach alpha brainwaves. I sort of have to, which is tapping a little bit into the subconscious mind. So you've got beta brainwaves, which is when you're really alert, you're thinking, you're active. And then when you slow your brainwaves down, just ever so slightly, when you're driving, this will happen when you're daydreaming and you'll get to where you are and you're like, how did I get here? You would have been in alpha brainwaves where part of your subconscious mind was in control of the driving, and then you're able to do some of your daydreaming and your thoughts, and you might end up finding that you can make decisions in that time really clearly and plan things. For me, I write music a lot when I'm in the car, and you'd be like, you don't have an instrument, but it's usually just lyrically things coming to me. And so for me, that's just, being a channel, a radio station for information to come through and share. And I feel a lot of my music is, and a lot of creatives feel this too, that's why a lot of creatives can be manic depressors or have mental illness, have ADHD, be neurodivergent, because neurodivergent to me just means that they're able to perceive a greater bandwidth of frequency. And so that helps when you're needing to be creative. And by all means, that's not me being any diagnosis for any artists out there or anything like that. It's just from what I have experienced and the people that I've spoken to, a lot of us are quite perceptive and emotive with other people and just in general, really. So I was going to pick one song just to have a little bit of a listen to and just dissect a little bit of the lyrics, and that'll be us done for today. I've had such a good time just chatting.
To take a look in one's heart, you must lose your head. To take a look in one's heart, you must observe what is said. You're not what's in your mind. Your true essence you must find.
Basically, with that, the start of the song, to take a look in one's heart, you must lose your head. So again, understanding that there are two parts of us, or mind, body, spirit. But sometimes we'll say, I want to follow my heart, but my head gets in the way. And we use this language, but we're not really understanding what it is that potentially we are meaning by that. And a lot of the time we discard our intuition that is calling and pulling for something more. And our heads know, let's keep us safe. We're programmed to survive. So your brain's going to get in the way and be like, no, don't do that, or, just play it safe. But your heart's calling is usually where your purpose lies in this life. Your meaning, what you're here to do, is usually, for me, the guidepost is fear. Whatever you're fearing, or jealousy, when you're jealous of someone else and what they're doing, again, it's another sign to say there's something in you that yearns for that, to be doing that. So to take a look in one's heart, you must lose your head. To take a look in one's heart, you must observe what is said. So meditation, one of the biggest things for me was starting to observe my thoughts and really listening to when they are you thoughts and when they are I thoughts. And I've discussed this many times in my shows with people, that considering the concept that maybe thought is the sixth sense, okay, that Egyptians had taught, and I've explained to you today that we are antennas and we have subtle energies that we can pick up with our DNA that could send messages to our brain, much like your eyes send messages to your brain, and we then decode the chemistry as to what we then see. So we see chemical messages. Your eyes take in the information, change it to chemical messages, goes along the optic nerve to the brain, decodes, and we see. Hearing is the same, what we feel is the same, and to me, it's possible that we receive subtle frequencies from the energetic field around us. We can't see all the Wi-Fi, we can't see all the 5G, can't see the radio waves. It's all around us, all at the same time, but we just cannot see it. And it would be pretty annoying if we could. We'd have all this interference and jumbling with this, even just trying to see me. You wouldn't be able to see me. There'd be too many waves going through it. So it serves a purpose that we can't see them. But we need to understand that we are receiving information. The prickles on the back of your neck when, someone's talking about someone who's passed, or, that feeling that you get when you think of someone and then they message or call you. We're all interlinked. It's all linked. So observe your mind. Pay attention to the negative thoughts, and especially if they are you thoughts, because I feel they are receiving messages rather than self-generated like I.
To find the essence of within, stop the ego, then now's what we're in. To find the essence of within, stop praying, 'cause God's listening.
have the love that you seek. You won't find it in others you meet.
To find the essence of within, start praying because God's listening. So again, with that, it's not literally like God, the man up there that's listening and going to, give you all your dreams. No. The frequency that you put out, whether it's with your words, whether it's with your actions, because that holds a resonance too. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. You want more kindness in the world, you give more kindness. You want more joy in the world, be more joyful, and it will mirror it back to you. That's the game. So God is listening for what actions you're taking, and again, the jealousy and the fear. If you're not going to step into those things, they can't come back. You can't have the big promotion that you want if you're not willing to step forward. It doesn't work like that. You want more joy, give more joy, you get more joy. It is actually just as simple as that. And if you're unsure and you want more clarification, please contact me. I love this bit. You have the love that you seek, you won't find it in others you meet. The interesting part is that we always are looking, and we have been taught, it's not just your fault. We have been taught from a young age that we need people outside of ourselves to heal. Whether it's going to a doctor, even going to spiritual healers. We've been told that we give our power away constantly, that we can't do this on our own. When truth be told, we are so much more powerful than we have been told. We don't even use all of this up here. And on top of it off, they keep telling us that we have all this junk DNA, which isn't junk. It's just DNA that hasn't been activated for you to then receive more information. There's so much on that. I'm not even going to go into it. But you're not going to find it in others you meet. You're going to find it within yourself. So you need to sit with yourself and love yourself. And only then will God give you your equal counterpart. Because you'll be able to attract it.
Find the light. Just trust and you'll find the light. The darkness can't hide the light. Be still and just feel the light. Find the light. Have faith and you'll find the light. No pain can conceal the light. Be brave and become the light. To find the keepers of your soul, you must fall down at your knees. To find the keepers of your soul, you must be dying within. Your very last breath you must face. Only then will the light find its place.
So these lyrics, to find the keepers of your soul, you must fall down at your knees. To find the keepers of your soul, you must be dying within. So for me, that was very much a reflection of my story and my dark night of the soul. I had to get to the point where I could take my last breath because of how much darkness was surrounding me, how much fear I was living in. And then literally the light filled the space where the fear was let go of. And my whole life transformed. Mine was a very physical feeling too. I felt the tingles go through my body, resonate in my heart space, and I knew in that point that I wouldn't be fearful of what I was fearing ever again. The last part of the song, so all the find the light is that just trust, surrender. Really, the song's about surrender, because you can't control things outside of you. You can only control how you respond. So find the light, find your inner light, find what you're connected to, find what brings you joy, and birth that more into the world. And only light can follow, only light can be reflected to you. If you're going to be nasty, if you're going to judge, if you're going to steal, if you're going to hurt, that's what you're going to get back. and more darkness. So I just wanted to wrap that up there. I wanted to share a bit of that song with you. I hope that you've got something out of today. Remember, the music that you listen to is usually a reflection of your inner state, and that music can be serving the healing within you. And also, if you check in, and sometimes it's actually pulling you down because of the frequency, if it's being more deconstructive than constructive, then go and put on something a little bit more lighthearted. I can suggest a song, Alien by Hazel Ray. What? Anyway, wherever you are in the world and whatever time it is, good morning, good evening, good night. Have a beautiful time. Bye.
To take a look in one's heart, you must lose your head. To take a look in one's heart, you must observe what is said. You're not what's in your mind. Your true essence you must find. To find the essence of within, stop the ego, then now's what we're in. To find the essence of within, stop praying, 'cause God's listening. You have the love that you seek. You won't find it in others you meet. Find the light, just trust and you'll find the light. The darkness can't hide the light. Be still and just feel the light. Find the light, have faith and you'll find the light. No pain can conceal the light. Be brave and become the light. To find the keepers of your soul, you must fall down at your knees. To find the keepers of your soul, you must be dying within. Your very last breath you must face. Only there will the light find its place. Find the light, just trust and you'll find the light. The darkness can't hide the light. Be still and just feel the light. Find the light, have faith and you'll find the light. No pain can conceal the light. Be brave and become the light. Become the light. Find the light. Don't fear the light.